Hi, everybody, and welcome to Spa Babies, presented by Spendthrift Farm. I'm Dan Illman, along with Nicole Russo, and let's throw up the field for the Spa Baby race for Wednesday, August the 19th. It's the Bolton Landing Stakes, 5.5 furlongs on the turf for 2-year-old fillies. This race doubles as the DRF race of the day, which means you can download free Formulator Pass performances on the Race of the Day event page at DRF.com. Access them and handicap along with us. Spendthrift's Super Sire Into Mischief, represented by the number 9, Mischievous Dream, a New York bred coming off a debut win for trainer Christophe Clement. Nicole, let's start with the number 1, Hara, big maiden winner, 2 starts back at Gulfstream Park, and she took on a very good filly on the dirt last time out in the Grade 3 Schuylerville. It'll be interesting to see how she handles the turf. The hard spuns generally do well on the surface.
They do. Hard Spun's really been a multi-purpose sire, and you could see his turf prowess just this past weekend with Antoinette winning the Saratoga Oaks on Sunday. He balances out a lot of dirt in that female family, although Hara's probably finding softer competition than she faced last out, as you pointed out.
Number 2 is Joy's Rocket, a perfect 2 for 2 for the red-hot Steve Asmussen barn. Let's watch Joy's Rocket's stakes victory over the Tapeta surface in the My Deer last time out. Joy's Rocket showed good early speed, took a little bit of pressure in the early portion of the race, and she kicked on very nicely with an extremely competitive 73 Beyer speed figure. Now, she's going to have to transfer this form to turf. Tell us a little bit about the young stallion, Anthony's Cross.
Well, Anthony's Cross by Indy and Charlie, I think he's been more of a dirt sire, but I'm encouraged that this filly, Joy's Rocket, not only ran well on the synthetic at Woodbine with a high Beyer, she ran well on the sloppy Churchill Downs track when she broke her maiden. And the Churchill track, as we've talked about in the past, can be kind to turf or synthetic type horses, especially when it's wet. And Steve Asmussen, what can you say about his 2-year-olds this year? I believe now he's up to 24 2-year-old race victories this year, 5 of those at Saratoga, including the Adirondack and the Saratoga Special, to go with stakes wins at Woodbine, Monmouth, Churchill. The barn's really just on fire in this division this year.
Another filly that tasted success over the Tapeta surface at Woodbine is the 3, Sweet Super Sweet. Let's watch her career debut on June the 27th. She was no surprise. 8-5 in this field of 8, and the first-time starter showed good early speed. I like the way she finished off the final furlong. It'll be interesting to see if she can transfer this form to turf. Her sire, First Samurai, is an exceptional synthetic stallion. He's good on turf, but really good on synthetic. It's nice to know there is some turf on the bottom of this pedigree.
Oh, certainly. And yeah, First Samurai by Giants Causeway, he's a multi-purpose sire, as you'd expect. This filly from just an outstanding female family. You see, that her dam's a half to stakes performers on turf and dirt there. But this filly's third dam is Get Lucky. It's just an outstanding family of Super Saver, Rhythm, and others.
Number 4 is Queen Watifa, and let's take a look. Well, let's take a look at her pedigree card. She was, like Hara, well beaten in the Grade 3 Schuylerville last time out, and she's going to have to improve off of those dirt efforts. She does have some turf in this pedigree. It's the family of a nice Phipps female family. We'll see what Queen Watifa gets on the turf. Rosario aboard.
Yeah, another branch of that family that we just mentioned there of Get Lucky's family by Jamalogist, who does okay with his first turf runners. I like the turf ability on the bottom side of the pedigree. She's a half to a couple of winners on the turf and her dam one on the turf, so it's right there in the early generations of the pedigree.
Seems like a tough spot for a first-time starter. They'll try it with the 5, Sassy Hannah, daughter of the great stallion Warfront, a $140,000 yearling, the second dam, a Group 2 stakes winner in France. Lots of turf and class in this family. It's the family of the great turf stallion Dynaformer.
Yeah, I mean, this is certainly a family for 2-year-old class and for turf class. Warfront, just an outstanding 2-year-old sire on both sides of the Atlantic, an outstanding turf sire. Sassy Hannah coming off a bullet work at Saratoga in preparation for the debut. I like that she's got, a series of recent 5 furlong works to maybe put some foundation into her for this tough debut spot. This is a case where with a lack of past performances to look at, like you have for the other fillies in this race, you'll really want to turn to the Clocker report produced by our colleague Mike Welsh and his team for some specific insight into Sassy Hannah and how she runs and how she's trained.
The filly they're all going to have to beat, however, is the number 6, Toby's Heart. This is a daughter of Jack Milton, who was just super impressive in her career debut at Churchill Downs, an 86 Beyer speed figure for a 2-year-old filly in June. She didn't break very well that day, rushed up along the inside, got into the clear, and devastated him in the stretch. I'm a little concerned about that poor break. If she does that again, she's really going to be behind the 8 ball against some better competition than she faced in her debut, but she was very impressive.
Yeah, as you noted, that poor break is the cause for concern with her. Trainer Brian Lynch told our colleague David Grunning in his preview of this race that you'll find at DRF.com that Toby's Heart was probably a gate work away from really being ready for her debut, and that her inexperience at the gate showed that day. She overcame it, and I would expect her maybe, to move forward at the gate off that effort. And you'll see that she's got a bullet work coming into this race a couple back, actually a series of bullet works at Churchill. And she's by Jack Milton, a Grade 1 winning turf son of Warfront.
Sunny Isle Beach, the 7 is entered main track only, so we'll move on to the 8, to Manzi Impilo, $300,000 Keeneland September yearling by No Nay Never. When you think No Nay Never, you think turf, you think sprint ability, and there is a lot of precocity and speed on the bottom of this pedigree. Let's watch a Manzi Impilo's career debut at Gulfstream way back on June the 10th. She is a Wesley Ward trained firster, thus she is almost automatically 3-5, and she goes on to a nice victory in speedy fashion. She'll have to improve from a buyer's standpoint, but that's certainly not out of the question, being a lightly raced 2-year-old.
Yeah, not out of the question at all, because these horses can just improve by leaps and bounds from start to start as they learn more just about racing. You have a chance for a price on a Wesley Ward horse and a 2-year-old turf sprint. So I would certainly watch the board on this one if you're interested in that. And No Nay Never, we're starting to see more and more of them in the U.S. A very good son of Scat Daddy, who's become a very good young stallion in Europe. And as you would expect, he's producing turf ability, 2-year-old ability, sprint ability.
Mischievous Dream is the number 9 by Spendthrift Stallion Into Mischief. Let's watch her career debut against New York breds for trainer Christophe Clement. Nice to see her win over this surface at this distance. She relaxed off of the pace. She finished off very professionally, and there should be some speed for her to attack in this race from the outside while clear of traffic.
I certainly think so. She worked out a nice outside stalking trip in that debut, has drawn an outside post again under the same rider, Tyler Gaffalione, who's riding very well right now at Saratoga. Showed some immaturity in that nice debut, switching leads in the stretch. So she could certainly move forward again now that she's got the racing experience. And the Clement barn is another barn doing very well at Saratoga this meet.
We have a formulator fact for Christophe Clement. Over the past 3 years, 2-year-old last out winners on turf. Remarkable statistics. 6 for 11, 55% winners, and a humongous return on investment, $13.59. And as we take a look at our top picks, that's where you're going to go, Nicole. The 9 Mischievous Dream should offer some value in here and might get the right setup.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is a race where, I think both of us went with some of Steve Asmussen's 2-year-olds over this past weekend at Saratoga, who just ran off and hid from them. But I think this is a wide open race and a chance to take a stand against some of the favorites if you're looking for value. Mischievous Dream, I like the way that she's drawn for a good rider, a good barn. Again, I think she can move forward from the little bits of immaturity she showed in her debut. And as you mentioned, I like that she's got the win on the turf over this course.
I'm not way against the two favorites in here, the 6 Toby's Heart, the 2 Joy's Rocket. If Toby's Heart runs back to her career debut, she's likely going to win, but I am worried about her start. She's going to have to break with the field this time around. As for Joy's Rocket, nothing not to like about her thus far. She's yet to been headed from 2 lifetime starts, but we'll see how she handles the turf for the first time. I'm curious to see what we get from Sweet Super Sweet. I like the way she finished off that Tapeta debut. There is some turf in the family. Mike Trombetta a really sharp trainer. I think this filly can improve from a buyer standpoint. So I'll take a shot with the 3 Sweet Super Sweet. Nicole's going with the 9 Mischievous Dream. It's the Bolton Landing Stakes, your Spa Baby race for Wednesday, and our coverage is presented by Spendthrift Farm.